somebody out there is living with a small wiener, and we want you to know it's okay. It's gonna be all right.
It's such a random way to start.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
My name's D.
This is Lynn.
Project Airwaves back at it again with another episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
We're at almost 80 right now.
80.
I think you were talking to me about how the way that it's been chopped up, we've already hit over 100.
Yeah, over 100 uploads on YouTube.
But the actual episodes in themselves were at 79, which is pretty good. It's pretty
Yes,
high up there.
we've almost hit 100.
Once we hit
Don't know
100.
what we're gonna do for our 100th episode, but
We'll do something.
we'll do something.
We'll do like a live chat Q&A. I think it'd be kind of cool.
Oh,
I've seen a lot of people that hit a certain number. They do those Q&A live chats.
Ask Me Anything or whatever it's
Kind
called?
of, yeah. It's just a streaming. You put it like how they upload it on YouTube, and it's a live stream, and you get a bunch of people on there, and I'm sure we can find a group of people that can actually
have a DBZ tournament.
something like that, or a spicy wing challenge or something.
Yes, I've been seeing all those hot sauces, the hot takes, hot ones.
Hot ones.
Hot ones.
I've
been seeing all those sauces.
We could do that for our 100th episode. Yeah. Just abundancy of stuff.
Have you seen that black chip?
The Pocky chip? Yeah.
Is that what it is?
It's PAQ something. It's a chip in a coffin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one chip challenge.
Yeah.
That's something. I feel like the one chip challenge would be okay, but it gets done too fast.
Yeah.
I feel like with spicy wings, we line up wings. You can actually buy the sauce.
And we can like kind of talk and
eat.
eat.
Talk through them and eat and stuff, or someone asks us questions while we're eating.
Yeah.
Like do. It's a hot ones. It's
Did you see what Ryan Reynolds did with Steve-O? Poor Steve-O.
Oh, what
with
was
the
he
ghost
doing?
pepper?
With the ghost pepper, yes. Yes, the same thing. Yeah,
That was so funny.
Something like that. I feel like that'd be kind of fun for
Poor Steve-O.
the 79th episode.
Poor Steve-O. All right, so jumping into our main topic, just to let you know, when I initially told Lynn about this and I thought it up, for some reason, the Christina Allegra? Christina, oh no, what's her last name?
She's not important anymore. I know who you're talking about.
Christina Aguilera.
She's not relevant anymore.
No, she's not, but that song popped in my head, What a Girl Wants.
Oh,
What a Girl.
I thought you were going to say Genie in a Bottle.
No.
I was like, why did that
We're
pop in
not
your head?
going there. This is
pop in your
not
head?
Mulan.
Eh.
Whatever. So we're going to talk about, at least from our perspective, what men want and or are looking for in a woman, depending on the situation and, depending on the guy. Everybody is different. Everybody has their preferences, their likes, dislikes, red flags, green flags, stoplights, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to give you a little insight into our stuff. All right. So let's go ahead and jump this off. The first question, Lynn.
You're asking me? You're asking me directly?
Well, I'm going to ask you, and then I'm going to
bounce it off. Okay.
Yeah, and then you
makes
ask
sense.
me.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you look for in a woman? Go.
You know what? With where I'm at now, I feel like it also bases off of your age.
Yes.
With time being in past relationships, I've learned to be more open-minded about what I'm coming into.
Mm-hmm.
You're not trying to go in for that trophy life mentality, which is what you told me a long time ago. Because it only being with a girl that's chaotic only gets you so far.
Yes.
Like, yeah, it's fun for what it is in
Right.
the beginning, and it's always like fleeting to enjoy that kind of madness. But then you really want, for me personally, at least for most guys I'm around, is that a woman with structure helps.
Stability.
Someone that I know, and with me being very independently drawn to do things by myself on my own and not rely on others, I look into having a woman that I know can help me when I know no one else can.
Yes.
Meaning, like, if something's happening and I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to do, and I'm like the strongest one in my group of people, I know I can go to my girl for these things to get me where I need to go, so I can go back to doing what I need to do.
Right.
Because it's come across a lot of times I've been in relationships where the person I'm with is just like, I'm the one doing most of the work.
Right, they're not being useful.
And they're not being useful. And it's like, if you can't physically or mentally or emotionally do anything for me, then
why are you here?
Why the fuck are you here?
Right.
So,
right.
For me, yeah, I feel like that is a big aspect. What about you?
Well, and I think things have changed, especially with the new generations and the way men see women. I mean, shit, people can't even define what a woman is nowadays, which is just mind-blowing. What I look for in a female is I need somebody who is headstrong, somebody who's not afraid to tell me to shut the fuck up, and somebody who is willing to let me be weak and vulnerable. I've noticed, especially with my past relationships, like you said, we come in not intentionally, but we come in as that force of nature. We come in as that force that gets things done, and then people rely on you to be a shot caller.
Right.
They're like, oh, well, I'm confused, so I'll just go ask Glenn. I'll just go ask D what to do. And it's like, yeah, but I want to see that you can do it on your own. If you need help, I'm there. But I need you to at least take that first leap. I need you to take the first step and not wait for me to to give you the green light, to give you the thumbs up. Especially coming from my background, being raised by a single mother. My mom was very headstrong, very goal driven. I don't want to call her an overachiever, but she is a freaking overachiever.
Oh yeah, that's an understatement.
It's one of those things of when I hear people say men are afraid of strong women or strong-minded women, I really think that's a cop-out, because I found it difficult to find women like my mom, or at least in that mindset of, I have something I need to do, I need to get it done no matter what, no exceptions, no excuses, it's getting done. A lot of times you find people who are flip-floppy. They'll be gung-ho about it in the beginning, but then when shit really hits the fan, they break under pressure. And that's always been an issue with me, as well as, like I said, being able to be vulnerable. We try to be as strong as possible at all times. Can we be Superman all the time? Fuck no. But I'm going to try. I don't care if I'm falling asleep on the job. I'll have my cape on. I'll have my pants halfway up, my butt cheeks hanging out. But I'll get the suit on eventually.
Right.
But there are days where I just want to take the suit off and I just want to be a regular ass dude. And I don't want to feel that weight of the call of duty, I guess, as you could say.
Right, which I can relate to that. It's that consistency of wanting to feel like you're above everybody.
Yes.
And that top heavy of just, I'm gonna mow through
right
all the competition and get where I need to get. But then there's certain times where it's like, if you're running at 100 miles or 100 RPMs all the time, eventually you're gonna crap out.
You're right. You need a moment.
Having that support to catch you when you fall,
right.
You fall a lot harder. It's not to say that you can't function on their own without a female presence being around, but it definitely
nice.
It definitely helps quite a bit.
Because when you just, like I said, when shit hits the fan, like you said, when I run out of ideas, when I run out of plans, and it's not necessarily I can't think of anything. I can't focus my mind to clear to the answer. So I need that second party who knows me, who knows how I think, and is thinking on my level to be like, hey, did you consider this? Hey, did you think about that?
Yes, and that I've done that quite a few times where I've had situations where it's like, it's not that I don't know what I'm doing, it's the reassurance that what I'm doing is right. And if I get that little voice, that little, hey, what you're doing sounds good, but have you tried this?
Right.
And it's like, it completely resets my mindset of oh, well, you know what? I haven't, but fuck it, let's give it a try. And it ends up being better than what I thought.
Right.
So it
helps.
Yes, I agree.
So moving on to the next one.
You go. Me?
Okay.
Oh, me? No.
Yeah, you can go.
All right. What do women do that drive men away?
I'm going to do my best not to be an asshole, and that's only because I'm bitter. Unfortunately, I think at least, and I'm speaking solely from my experience, what I feel women do that tend to drive men away is they emasculate the man. They make him feel like he's less than. I get it. Guys, we have an ego, testosterone, toxic masculinity, whatever you want to call it. Every guy thinks to some extent he is better than he is, but that's because we have to. If I'm not constantly striving to become better, then I'm going to become stagnant and shit. I'm just going to become a pile of dough. So it's not so much that I need you to boost my ego, where more as I need you to understand what I'm trying to do and help me elevate myself. It's not even so much of, oh, I'm the man, I got to be the breadwinner, you got to take care of me and do everything I need. No. Not even close. But oftentimes where it's like, okay, hey, perfect example, I want to quit my job. I'm just not happy. I need something different. I need my girl to be there and be like, okay, cool, I got your back. Even if she doesn't think it's the greatest idea. Even if maybe there's an off chance everything could go to shit. Just the simple fact that she sees me struggling, knows I need change, and is like, okay, let's do it. That's going to make me cling onto you. Whereas you have some females who are so quote unquote independent, where they feel that if a man shows any sign of weakness, he's not worthy. He's not worth her time. If a man doesn't make X amount of hundreds of millions of dollars every year, he's not worth her time. And that's, to me, that's going to cause, as we see now, is going to cause a lot more social rifts between men and women. Whereas we were trying to become partners, colleagues, equals at one point. Now it's become a competition of, oh, well, I make X amount of money and I take care of my girl. That's why she stays with me.
You know what? And there's a very thin line with that when it comes to, I don't know. Now, when we touch on this topic, is it based off of the concept of you being in a relationship, which would drive you away from your significant other, or why you don't see an interest in a female before you make contact with them?
Good question. That I wrote that specific question of what would drive a woman. What would a woman do to drive you away from being with her?
Okay, so yes,
So
and
getting into a relationship.
and there's been situations like that before, where prior to like before being into a relationship, there would be someone that would come in, and most of my relationships were based off of experiencing companionship with that person, meaning like I've worked with the person that I've dated.
Right.
And because of that, we've already created a bond. We already became friends.
Right.
Before becoming partners.
There's a foundation.
Yes. So the foundation has gotten to the point where I can't really say there's a situation where someone would drive me away, because I've yet to be in a relationship where I wasn't with that person just as a very solid friend. Like, I don't have a whole lot of female friends.
Right.
Like, really at all. But the ones that I did, over time, it just comes natural. If you're with a girl around long enough times, you start to see the traits of something that you like. It starts to be, can I like this person more than just a friend? And if it ever became a thing to where I didn't like what they were doing, no different than if you're with a woman or you're friends with a guy.
Yeah.
There's certain traits where like I'm like friends with a guy, and then I'll be like, all right, I don't like what you're doing.
Right.
I don't like who you are as a person.
Right.
So I slowly stop talking to you.
So then let me rephrase that. What would be a deal breaker for you as far as getting to know a woman and or starting a relationship? I mean, because we can clear out the little shit. Smoking. Yeah. I don't want a smoker.
No, you can't say you can't smoke, and you can't say kids.
Right.
Yeah, especially for me and you. That doesn't work. Practically step parents at this point. But
yes.
You know what? And it's the concept. I think the one thing that would drive me away is I do like a strong woman. I don't like the independency of thinking that we're not meant to be a team.
Yes.
I've always been in this aspect where it's like you said, if I fall, you can catch me.
Yes.
If you fall, I catch you. If I succeed, you're succeeding with me.
Right.
If you're doing better than me, that's fucking fantastic.
Right.
I'm so happy that
I'm gonna win.
I'm so happy that you're doing good. This only gives me the reason to fucking push to do more.
There you go.
And it's that pyramid of moving up and down as a whole, which I like a lot. What would drive me away is that if I was with someone and they slowly started just being like, okay, well, this is me over here.
Right.
And this is you over here.
You do your thing, I'll do mine.
Yes. And in exchange, maybe we'll meet up every so often.
Right.
That's a red flag of like, all right, I'm either just one of your Tuesdays or Wednesdays or Thursdays, or you already have an exit strategy.
Right.
So that's a red flag. That's a signal for me where I'm like, okay, I need to jump the fuck out of this. Because obviously you're already punching holes in this ship, and we're not going to stay afloat for much longer.
I'm gonna definitely say for me a red flag, especially meeting a new girl. My past relationships, as Lynn knows, have been psychotic in some situations.
Very chaotic.
And it's one of those things of, if I'm sorry, and this goes for men too, but since we're talking about what a man wants, if a girl has too much baggage, if you have 3, 4, 5 kids, sorry, you're off the list. I can deal with 1 or 2. Let me say this. I am not a single man. I have no children. You know what I mean? No biological children. I have been in a relationship with 1 child and then another relationship with 2 children. And for me, I have decided that 2 is the limit. Because my first question is,
actually no. Let me add you to this. So this is a curveball.
Yeah.
Would you prefer 2 with no baby daddy in the picture, or 1 with a baby daddy in the picture?
Oh, you motherfucker. 2 with no baby daddy. I'm going to be honest. It's a lot.
2 is a lot, and especially if it's like boy or girl.
Here's my issue with baby daddies.
But yes, the baby daddy thing is a
they
fucking...
feel entitled.
Yes.
When they're not around.
Yes.
Now we're not talking about the baby father who it's like you guys decided to part ways. He pays child support. Y'all, he takes the kid on the weekends and y'all have this wonderful agreement and a working relationship. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the baby fathers who decide that they're just not going to be around, but they still feel the need to assert themselves or address themselves in that role of authority. Because to me, the title father has meaning, has a very deep meaning. Me and Lynn are not quick to call any grown-ass man father or dad. Especially with me, when my current stepfather, because we've been through some shit, my current stepfather now, and thankfully my parents have been together for 18 plus years. Thank you, Jesus.
Damn, that's a long ass time.
I know.
I didn't even think about that.
He's done nothing but benefit our family. Nothing but benefit. So
that's how Notch
calling him dad, bro, you get it.
Oh yeah, that's how Notch is for me. Not in my biological, he's in the picture, but we don't talk.
Right.
We don't talk. I haven't seen him since high school. And that was just him fucking coming across me when I was walking one day.
Right, which was weird
it was
when
fucking,
you told
fucking
me.
weird. That story was
like,
so...
I think I met my dad.
That was just
what?
a weird statement when it came to that. But, Notch will always be my dad because he's done more for me and my brother, even my mom, who we've all had hard times, and he's been nothing but supportive to help all of us. So it makes it very helpful to have a strong figure like that to go to if something does happen.
Right.
Like, even like if something were to seriously happen here in town, I don't know a lot of people I can go to that can like bail me out.
Yes.
And that's like the one person I know. Like,
right.
I mean, even when it came to buying my home, it was him and his girlfriend that helped me get in there.
Yeah.
I paid for everything. Obviously, I was the one doing all the signing and stuff, but with her being the realtor, getting me through the door, making sure I was constantly on my shit, and then he coming in practically like a second handyman, like, hey, let's fix this, let's work on this, like, shout out. I owe him almost everything.
And that's what I mean. It's like having someone like that to give you that drive of, I want to be a good man, I want to be a good father, and I would almost say us having stepdads almost made us predisposed to have stepchildren of our own. And that's, for me, because I haven't found the right type of woman. Now, I'm going to go into that in our next episode because we've kind of hit our limit on this one.
Wrap it up.
Hope you like it. Stay tuned. Go ahead. If the episode's up, because you were late to the game, go ahead and just click on over to it.
Yeah.
All right?
Bye.
We'll catch you in the next one. All right, in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody.
Oh, we're starting off like that?
We're back.
Okay. I didn't know.
I mean, we were gone.
Yes. We're still
but
here.
We're back.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of already touched on the aspect of what a red flag would be, but do you still want to double dip in it? Or
Let's go.
Okay. So, what are some red flags that you would see in a relationship? Like, what's something that would be like an impending doom? Like, when you've been with where we're at in our age, we've already been in enough relationships to know when you start to see the roller coaster hitting the peak of the hill,
right?
And when it's going to fucking derail. Because I've seen it enough times more where it's like, all right, this looks familiar.
Yes.
And so my question to you is that with where you're at currently, if red flags present themselves, do you get in front of it and try to stop it like you previously used to? Do you let it run its course and see if it fixes? Or do you jump off before it becomes a thing?
That's a great fucking question. That answer has changed throughout our lives.
Yes.
Because if you had asked me this question 5 years ago, I'd be like, fucking no, I'm going to jump ship.
See, and you know what? 5 years ago, and that's where we're different. 5 years ago, I was the guy that would, if I saw something was wrong, I would do everything in my power to fix it.
Yes.
I'd be like, fuck, I got to get in there, I got to fix it, and made it to where I felt like I was mentally very controlling.
Right.
Like, I was like, I need to hold this person with every ounce of my being and not let them go. And it only ended up making it worse because now they're like, towards the tail end of it, they just have a bad taste in their mouth of me.
Right.
Because of like, okay, you don't understand how much I love you and how much I want you to be around, so what can I do to make this fix? And they're like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. I'm like, no, it does. Let me fucking fix it.
Right.
But now as I'm getting to this point now, I'm not the one that's just going to jump. That's not what I can't.
I don't have the energy.
I don't have the energy to jump off. But if I see something happening, I take mental note of it, and then I let it run its course.
If it's a big enough red flag, you know what I'm talking about? Like a fucking firework in the sky that says, get out. You can't help it.
It's like the old school shit of like how guys and girls when they're younger, when they were with their significant other, they would try to go through their phones.
Yes.
Like, let me go through the phones and see if I can find text messages or pictures. If you're looking through somebody's phone, you're purposely, intentionally trying to find
If you're looking for trouble, you're going to find it.
You're trying to find it.
You know what I mean?
And it's more or less like I've gotten to this mentality where it's like, if it's gonna happen,
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna come across me eventually.
Right.
And now when it does, I'll be like, okay, now I know. And if they're like, oh, well, I'm sorry about this, and this is the reason why, I was like, you don't have to explain this to me. The fact is that you'd been hiding it for so long, and then now it drops in my lap. You had all this time to fucking fix it, and you let it run to here.
Now I'm out.
So now I'm out. You dug your own fucking grave. Yes. Bury yourself.
Well, and that's what I mean about red flags, especially. Me and Lynn, nope, I'm not going to say that for Lynn. I'm going to say that for myself. I'm a hopeless romantic. I have the optimism of the gods. If it's possible for something to work, regardless of the situation, I will at least stay around to see it through. Is that a great mentality? No. Has it served me wrong? Yes. At the end of the day, that's who I am at my core. I love the fact that I can make somebody happy by being in their lives. I love the fact that somebody can enrich me as a person by just being in my life. So, perfect example, with my super ex. Me and her broke up for a year, got back in touch, and she's pregnant with another man's baby. I went through all my little emotions and mental gymnastics, but at the end of the day, temporarily for a time, I took her back. Raised the kid as my own, did everything I need to do, because in my mind, it just made sense. It was like, we have a history. We have a connection. As much as I don't like the thought of raising another man's baby, to get you back, I'll accept it. Nowadays, no. I can't be that guy. I don't have that patience. I don't have the self-restraint to deal with those type of issues, because like we were saying in the previous episode, I don't like dealing with baby daddy issues. I can't fucking stand it.
It's exhausting. Especially, it's exhausting to have to come into a situation, and there's been times like that, like no matter what. And prior to my past stuff, it's like you said, the baby daddy has this lingering ability to be able to, and I've been reminded of this before, that no matter how much you do as a step parent, the baby daddy can still come in and just fucking change everything with just one phone call. It
has happened,
and it's stupid. It's such a shitty thing, which I'll touch base on this a little bit farther down.
Later.
Yeah, but I do want to skip the one that we did highlight and go into the other one.
Do you believe in love after love?
So my another. So these are relatively good questions, which I feel like a lot of people, I would like to hear from other people, to hear what their comments are.
Yes.
I tend to not ever hear comments through our podcast, but then people that I know listen to us will pull me aside, because at the academy,
which is weird.
Yeah, like I had one of my instructors come to the academy last week. I mentioned to her back in, so who's it? Someone brought it up back in like, what the fuck was it? March. Because I had to train this person to become a defensive tactics instructor, but she's an officer. She owns her own little baking business and stuff like that. But she had to teach one of her first classes, and she was there last week. And she asked about the podcast. And I was like, I looked at her, I was like, you know about it? And she's like, oh yeah. She goes, I've listened to it quite a few times. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, I had a question about this, this, and this.
Nice.
And I'm like, you serious? She had it written down and everything.
What?
Yeah. And it's like, sometimes that happens quite a bit, is that my information gets put out and I forget about it.
Yeah.
And then because we're not, obviously more my fault, but we're not consistent in what we do in our uploads, that when stuff does come up and someone mentions about a topic that it talks about, I have to sit there and like rewind back. I was like, bro, we're 80 episodes in.
I was about to say,
we've been doing this since the pandemic. If we were consistent, we'd probably be over in the hundreds by now.
2019.
No, 2020. We hit January 2020.
Yeah, okay.
We started prepping with it in November at the church,
Mm-hmm.
and then we ran. And I can still I still have memories of that. we were sitting at the church super late at fucking night, prepping everything together, and then 2020 is when we launched our first episode.
Yes, sir. Do you believe in soulmates?
Yeah. So this was my. I got sidetracked with it.
It's the gnomes in our refrigerator.
What is that?
They're hard at work keeping the refrigerator
They're sending Morse code?
No, they're hammering. They're working the forge.
Is that what that sounds
Yeah,
like?
yeah. Something must have broke. They're repairing it.
Like the Keebler elves.
Yeah.
So, now, do I believe in soulmates? Yes. Do I feel like it's a necessity to have to be with your soulmate? No.
Well, what makes a soulmate? For you, what would be your soulmate criteria?
Within the relationships that I've been in, I've seen different personalities. You never are with the same girl twice.
No.
And a lot of times, and I know men that have done this, especially myself, you try to see similarities in what your ex was, is because you want those things.
Yes.
And I've had to train and reprogram my brain to remind myself, you know what, this person that I'm with now is not the person that I was with.
Right.
Because it wouldn't work.
But they're not still here.
They're not. Yeah. They don't need to be a fucking doppelganger of that person.
Exactly.
I'm with them because of the traits that I like about them that are completely separate.
Right.
So changing my brain to get out of the old shit and coming into the new stuff, everybody has a hard time doing that. It's just adaptability, but you do tend to compare. So little things, like little dates get mixed up and little time stamps and everything like that, or certain events, you're like, fuck, I remember this with this person, but then you know this person's here, so this needs to be the thing.
Right.
Now, when it comes to a soulmate, it's such a, and this is you being, what would you say? What was the word that you said you were? You're
optimistic?
No, not optimistic.
Oh, a hopeless romantic?
Yeah, a hopeless romantic. That's something that I am not.
Yes.
Yeah, being a hopeless romantic it's not something that I could dabble in, more or less.
Why not? It's fun.
You know, it's like that fairy tale thing, like trying to, I don't know, think that love is the only thing that can keep a relationship going. And when it comes to having a soulmate, yes, when I was younger, that's felt like that was a direction that you wanted to go in.
Right.
And as you got older, you realize, like, I don't really have anything in common with this person to really consider them a soulmate.
True.
So I do believe that it does exist. I don't feel like it's a consistency to where it needs to be something. Like, you get your Bonnie and Clyde, your ride or dies, the ones like, oh, fuck, I can do everything with this person.
Right.
But if they were soulmate, it would have already ran its course.
See, and that's
You can't find all another thing.
That's where I differ. Yeah.
You can't. I don't realistically feel like you can find your soulmate at a later age. It's something in between an age gap of
never thought about it.
18 to 30.
Really?
Like if it's in between.
So you have conditions for soulmate.
I feel like it's something like the soulmate is like the person that comes in and you know it's they can't do wrong in your eyes. They're perfect all the way around.
Right.
You know that you're going to be with them no matter what. But that would require the relationship to have no flaws.
So do you believe your soulmate exists?
I don't think so.
Right.
No.
Right.
But then again, like I said, I know what it is that I foresee in a woman. I don't need you to be my soulmate in order for me to spend my life with you.
Yes.
I know that if you are bringing to the table to better me as a person,
right.
and in exchange we can coexist and grow together.
Right.
I feel like if that's what's considered a soulmate, then yes, I would go with that being my soulmate. But it's not like love on first sight. I saw this person, and now I know for the rest of my life, no matter what the fuck this person does, I'm going to be with them. I don't believe that.
See, and that's me. I don't believe in a pre-existing soulmate, like somebody's out there just wandering the world,
that's true,
waiting to come in contact with you. I believe someone becomes your soulmate over time. And that's just because we're all individuals. We're all different. We all have different life experiences. However, perfect example, when I got out of my last relationship, I was pretty devastated. I was single for about 2.5, 3 years. And somebody set me down. They said, if you want to find a woman that's going to stay with you, you got to find a woman that thinks like you. And you would think that's so fucking common sense, but we've made exceptions for women who didn't deserve it, and for women who could not bear the honor of it. I've been with girls who've told me I treat them too well, which blows my mind. What do you mean I treat you too well? Are you saying I should hit you? Are you saying you want me to yell at you and degrade and demean you? Like, what does that even mean? On top of that, how is that feedback for me to build off of for my next relationship?
You can't, and it sucks.
What does that do?
Unfortunately, it's like you can't do anything to strengthen that by like, oh, do I need to like bring myself farther down?
How do I get
better? I have to? Yeah, you can't. You're never gonna find someone that's gonna match you out and everything. Like I'm not saying I'm the smartest person in the fucking room, but it's very rare to find someone that matches me in not intelligence, but like a thought process.
Yes,
I tend to think very off the cusp. Like if you put me on a one-on-one, I'm like a stand-up comedian. My comeback to you tends to be so much more fluid than most.
Yes.
That I come off being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh, they're thinking I'm being fucking rude. But it's because I'm so quick to fire back at you.
Right.
And it's like, I've never yet come across someone that can generally outthink me like that.
Yes.
And that's where it's like, I don't need an equal because it doesn't do me any good. Because if I had someone that was like-minded like that, we'd just fight all the time. We'd be like, all right, well, I'm going to one-up you, and then you're going to one-up me, and then I'm going to one-up you, and you're going to one-up me, and then we're just going to sit there and be like, okay, well, this is fucking stupid. I don't want to talk to you now.
And that's why I go kind of more by the whole opposites attract.
That's true.
Whereas because of the way I think and the way I do things, I'm too I don't want to say driven, I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. I think too far ahead for people to keep up.
Oh, that's where me and you are very, very similar, and I've pitched that to quite a few people who don't understand it. I find exhaustion in people who do day-to-day things without any planning.
Right, you don't think it through.
It fucking drives me crazy. There's a few people that I work with that do that shit, and it's like when you tell them that they're chaotic, they look at you like you're calling them a fucking monster. Like your shit's chaos. You don't make any fucking. How the fuck do you have multiple kids? How do you function when every single day is just and they're like just moving? And it's like, dude, had you planned your shit, it wouldn't be this fucking bad.
Exactly.
Plan it out. I understand you have kids. I understand that this is happening, but you can still fucking structure something out.
Yes.
But if anything, there is one flaw to being a planner like that.
Exactly.
It takes away your ability to enjoy the moment.
Focused on the moment. Yes.
You lose the ability to focus and enjoy that moment because you're so far out there. And
you're
there's time
already in the future.
And it's like, and I'm one thing I have a really hard thing of releasing that I'm working on is that if something's planned and I get a last minute thing thrown at me, like, hey, let's do this, or hey, I can't because of this, or hey, this is happening, it fucking sends me off the rails. Like I want to go fucking strangle a baby or set a fucking bus on fire. Like I
want to strangle children.
I'm telling you, it becomes a thing where it's like I can't process why I have to adapt because you don't know how to schedule your day, and it makes it hard to have to. But then I realize it's like, you know what, people aren't like me, so I need to preemptively plan separately from that, and do things on my own terms. Of okay, you can't do this, cool. I got something else I can do.
Right.
So that's my fault for underestimating people.
And we grow and we learn, and that's what I mean. That's where I've developed my logic with the whole soulmates thing. because I believe you connect with somebody, but you can connect with anybody you fucking want to. I could walk down the street and talk to some random stranger and find something we have in common. That doesn't make them my soulmate. It's what is that person willing to do for you regardless of the situation. Like, my girl is committed to me, whether we make money, whether we don't make money, whether we go somewhere, we don't go somewhere. She's all about me and this relationship, which is something I haven't had before, because it's always been me trying to be like a fucking YouTuber, and I'm trying to stay relevant in her eyes. I got to do this so I can be cool.
So let's jump on to let's cut this one. We'll jump on to the next one because that actually plays in a part with that part.
Ooh, okay. Yep. So we're going to the next one.
Yeah.
All right, we'll catch you in the next one.
Okay, bye.
In 3, 2, 1. Okay, part 3. I hope you're ready. It's been simple this far.
I'm trying to.
We're about to go down the rabbit hole.
I'm trying to move forward.
Yeah, the rabbit hole.
Now that I'm looking at that schedule, are we able to adapt Sunday and Wednesday and Sunday and Thursday?
That's fine.
Just because I normally do jiu-jitsu on Tuesday.
Oh,
and then it's
look
like
at Naruto
Wednesday,
over here.
I'm trying to move that into another thing. So
ninjutsu.
Thursday would be perfect.
Okay.
Just saying there. All right.
Okay.
But yeah, so going forward. So I'll let you ask this one.
No,
so
you ask it.
I'll let you ask because I asked you last
fine.
too. So your turn. You go at it.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Lynn, how have your past relationships changed you as a person?
It's a lot.
Bombshell.
It's a lot to
I got a mangina.
That's a lot I gotta unwrap. It's quite a bit. Quite a bit to such a level. It's like the equivalent of how has my current job changed from my last job.
Well, let's break it down. Let's dig into this.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do a positive and a negative.
Mm-hmm.
As far as negative, how have your past relationships affected you?
Yes. Okay, that's good. The negative aspect of it is that I can tell that I am very closed off from things.
Mm-hmm.
I've shut that part of my brain off to not care.
Right.
And it sucks because I know what I'm doing. And it's
Right,
not that
right.
it's not who I am as a person. I'm a very loving and caring individual, but people don't see that. Be it with the girlfriend, with friends.
Yeah.
I like to sum the relationship up as a whole where
Yeah.
even my close friends, it's like if I've gotten burned so many times and I've been just this loving, giving, here's everything I have.
Right.
Let me do what I can to take care of you, and then I feel like I'm alone at the end of it. Because in all honesty, the only people that have really, really stuck around, be it friends and that, are you, Chris. I don't count my dad and my brother because
that's
they're
automatic.
family there. Probably Chris and James.
Yeah.
Yes, because they've been around. Mike's there included as well, but you and Chris.
Cut one off. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And it used to be Naomi. She was one of my closest. That was like a sister to me, and I slowly just fucking traitor
Things
here
went
decided
sideways.
one direction. So it's like, but I treat my friends like family.
Yes.
Because I would like if something. I always think about this too. If I were in a situation where the world's about to end, and we all get popped into a black room, and the devil's standing there, and he says, "All right, so here's what I can do for you. I could either kill all the people that are close to your life and put you back on Earth, and reset you, and you're good to go. But now you no longer have these people in your life, meaning that you've died.
Yes.
My brother, my dad, Chris, like whomever, they all pass, or you sacrifice yourself and everybody gets to live. I would in the drop of a hat.
Of course.
They're like, oh, but don't you want to do this, this, and this? Oh, and when you come back, and if everybody dies, you're loaded. You have all the money in the world. You can travel, do whatever, make new friends. Doesn't matter.
I don't want to be alone.
It doesn't matter. It's like, oh, but you can make new friends. Doesn't matter.
Not the
So
same.
he will constantly convince you, and I've always ran the scenario in my head. It's like I will constantly try to be convinced that I could have all this money, find a new relationship, find friends, do whatever, and I'm like, no, it's not the same. If I put you in my circle, then I would drop everything. It's gotten to this point now where it's like that circle has just gotten tighter and tighter.
Yes.
Because I've let so many people come in here.
Right.
And I explain to them, hey, this is how I am. This is what I do. I'm this person that will take care of you.
Yes.
But I want you to succeed. I want you to be successful. Whatever you need from me, I'm here to take care of you. But don't just ghost me. You fucking ghost me, you're dead to me.
Yes.
And by dead, I mean if I see you again, I'll fucking kill you.
You're dead.
Yes. It's not a good thing, but it's like, get away from me because I don't like this whole. I'm not a fucking bus stop.
Yes.
You're not gonna come in, park your fucking feet for a minute, get comfortable, and then take a bus somewhere else.
Yes.
And that has gotten me to that point where it's happened so frequently, be it relationships and friends, where I'm like, I take it to heart when someone's like, they either stop talking to me or they slowly just disappear for whatever fucking reason. And there's probably parts on my side too. But in my head, it's like, the amount of love I have for you as a person.
Yes.
And the fact is that you can't take the time to be like, hey, how are you doing?
Right.
Or, hey, what's going on? You just happen to go. And, that's how it was with my past roommate. Mm-hmm. Me and her are really close, and relationships tend to do this, is that when you're in a relationship with somebody, you forget about everybody else around them because you need to focus on that relationship. I've never been like that. Mm-hmm. I've either brought that person in the relationship with me to meet my friends, or I'm still seeing my friends.
Right.
Because it's not going to be I got to focus on this person, so you guys are out. Because you know what happens? That person probably won't be around forever. Yep. And when they leave, you're left with nothing.
You know what they say? Don't put your pussy on a pedestal.
No.
But I mean, I agree. It's been the same thing. Yes, I agree. It makes you put up a facade. Mm-hmm. Whereas before we were open, loving. Look, I'm going to show you everything I have to offer you up front. Yep. Now I'm going to make you work for it.
Oh yeah.
Now you got to earn it, because I've seen people and I've dealt with being taken advantage of because I'm nice, because I'm willing to sacrifice. Like Lynn said, I will give up my last fucking dollar to make sure you have food. Mm-hmm. We have lived together. Me and this motherfucker have eaten ramen, Ritz crackers.
And this is why D will always like have he'll be up in that pedestal area. Is that there was a time where I was a runaway, and I had ran away from home, and I was out. I tried sleeping in different places. So I was homeless. I tried sleeping in different spots. I remember it was one of the worst ones that sat in my head. Is I remember because I didn't want to take that car because it wasn't my car.
Yeah.
And I was done with everything. Mom garage back then.
Yeah.
And I remember walking all the way up to Angel Park from the old house that I used to have off of Rainbow. And I tried
on the bench.
I tried to sleep in the tennis court.
Yeah.
And it was freezing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I can't do this. Mm-hmm. I tried it for like about a week or two. And then D was one of the people that's like, hey, it is a 2-bedroom place, but why don't we dump all your stuff in here? And I was sleeping in his living room. Yeah. And I was still going to work, doing everything I needed to do. And it was like that kind of reset to me to think like, you don't get a lot of people that are willing to just take you in from scratch. And we were kids back then, mind you.
We were 18,
Most
19,
people aren't even mentally developed like that. Normally adults are the ones that are like, hey, I'll take you in. But we were 18, 19 at that point. So those are the cons of what I've gotten from this.
Positively.
So the pro of what the pros relationships I've had, and this is something I definitely know that I do better, is that I've slowed my mental process, my cognitive function down significantly. Meaning I've grown smarter.
Yes.
Meaning I don't just run in and I start like trying to control and do a whole bunch of fucking things.
Right.
I've gotten so much more patience, and I know people who are around now that can tell me like, I used to get fucking, when I would be dealing with fights at work, I'd be fucking shaky.
Oh yeah.
I'd be shaky, like ready to fucking strangle the person. Right. And people would look like, oh, nothing's gonna happen. He's probably just gonna try and do this. And then when I would go full Hulk smash, everyone's like, how can someone that is so small do so much damage? I'm like, people would have to pry me off because I would have so much emotional fucking damage. Yeah. And it's the same thing when it comes to kind of double back to the con side of it, is that because I bottle up so much of this shit now rather than just letting it flow naturally, that when it does explode, there is not anybody that I've come across yet that can handle what I have to give out. Because they look at me too like, where's all this coming from?
Right.
And they're like, well, they try to talk to me about it, and I'm, like I said, I'm so silver with my tongue that I'm just fucking cutting you. And they're like, it could be like the guy at the McDonald's window, and he's like, I just wanted to know if you wanted bleeding out. I just wanted to know if you wanted to supersize or not. I don't You
just wanted fries, man.
Yes, and I'm just fucking tearing into him. The universe doesn't exist. The earth is flat. your mother never loved you, and it becomes just a nightmare of just, so because of that, because I know this nuclear bomb, this core that I know that's always sitting there, like Chernobyl, like I know it's gonna go off. I've honed my brain to take a step back when I feel like something is gonna set me off. And it gives me pleasure to know that I have patience now. Way more patience. There's so much shit that I've been around now where it's kind of like, you know what, it's
could be worse.
I wanted to fix everything and work on everything, and now it's just like,
you just kind of learn.
Yes.
We had to learn the hard way through a lot of shit, and for the betterment of our individual selves, it was worth it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I will tell anybody, some of the best times of my life was when we had our apartment, we were broke as fuck and turned off every other day. We didn't know where dinner was coming from, but we had our little family.
Yes, we had a family of really good tight-knit friends. It was all runaways. It was. I always think about like Marvel's Runaways, man. Was it Ian?
It was.
I always get the name mixed up.
Enoch.
Yeah, Ian.
Chelsea and the boys.
Ian brought so many people that we became close with. That it was like that. It was like, I don't need to be around my actual family because I have all of these friends. And it was always like Josh, Charles Chung was there, and people that we would really roll with. That I was like, you know what? All the fights and all the robberies and all the bullshit and stuff and crazy fucking shenanigans. It was like always with, and it's crazy. You know what? Most of the stuff we've gone through now, like you almost drowning.
Yeah.
There's been times. I was just thinking about it. I was driving on Buffalo Bridge. Mm-hmm. You know where the
overpass
is? Yeah, the overpass. Mm-hmm. You know how that clock tower is right there?
Yeah.
So a long time ago, sorry, it's a little bit of a story time. To lump sum up that the people that we've gone through in these crazy things are no longer around.
Yes.
I remember my first accident is that it was raining and I was with Sanford. Mm-hmm. You remember Nick?
Yeah.
Nicholas? Yeah.
Yes.
And then I had Ryan with me. And then, all the people. So you know all these people because these were my friends for a long time. We were driving and I was in the backseat driver's side with Sanford driving and Ryan in the front and then Nick next to me. And I remember I was listening to the song Feel Good by the Gorillaz.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and it was raining. And there was a truck that had a flatbed that extended out.
Yeah.
And he had this tiny little fucking Corolla. Mm-hmm. And Sanford driving fast. We start going up to the bridge area and we try to pump the brake and we hydroplaned, which is the first time I'd ever experienced that. So he tried to turn because the way that the top of the hood would meet where the trail bed was, it'd have ripped the whole fucking top off and just fucking decapitated everybody. And because he turned quick enough, what it did is rather than hitting the car dead on,
the car
around. Turned and it hit, and when it hit, it spun us sideways.
What?
As we're hydroplaning, it flipped. So that's the first time I've ever been like upside down in a car.
Shit.
Yeah, this is the first time I'd ever been upside down in a car.
So you were up fucking side down?
Just like the Fresh Prince. My whole life got flipped, turned upside down. We got flipped, turned upside down, and that hydroplane fucked up the car was totaled. Mm-hmm. But I don't even know why was I.
I think you were
Alzheimer's kicking in. What was the purpose in this? I don't know. Okay, yeah. So the reason why, sorry, I got sidetracked because everybody's blowing up my phone right now, so I'm getting sidetracked with this stuff. The people that we've gone through the most traumatizing things in our lives right now aren't around, and not to say like not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. Not like, you should have fucking stayed kind of stuff. Right. But it really makes you think about the people that you're going to spend your life with. Because I've been in situations where it's like, if I get pictures with friends or even past relationships, I don't delete shit because those are my memories of that person. Yes. Because the biggest thing that I have an issue with, and I feel like I was just watching, it's called Dahmer. It's Jeffrey Dahmer, obviously.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. And it's like the attachment issues that he had. But his shit was fucking weird. Like, he had to drug people and then keep them just to sleep with them kind of shit. And then would dissect them. It was crazy. But
that's a little much.
People have that mentality to want to find a way to hold on to certain things. Yes. And when it comes to putting people in that pocket with you, we don't
hoard shit, we hoard friends.
Yes.
Like I'm the same way. I hold on to friends very dearly, and that was kind of my issue. That was one of the reasons I wanted to bring up this topic. That was my issue with my first 2 or 3 big relationships was I refused to let that person go.
Yeah, I was the same way.
And that put me in a very difficult spot, which leads into our last question. How do you deal with the heartbreak?
Dude, I feel like heartbreak isn't it's not an end all thing that just happens and then you go about your life. Right. It's a consistency. Heartbreak can start somewhere and then bleed in to your life until it either stops or you fucking fix it and you become better. And I do not know. I still to this day have a hard time not hurting over things that have bothered me. And it's like I can hide it for the most part. Some people won't even know on what's going on. But it doesn't mean that I don't have this with my thought process because I can be so multi-purposeful with certain things. I can't do a lot of multitasking, but on the few things I do work on, I know my brain will go in sections. I don't know if that's my ADD or what, but I know that if I'm not constantly staying busy, my brain locks onto something that it doesn't want to lock on for.
You go down
I'll even be at
dark hole.
I'll be at the fucking gym, and it's like
that's worse.
It ruins it for me. I'll be sitting there working out and be like, my brain will just go into autopilot. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to focus on?
And it just sits on that thought or
it sits on that thought, and it's like I can't just strip it.
Right.
It's like telling someone to meditate.
Yeah.
Like, just sit here in silence and then meditate. It's like, I can't. My brain has to be on something. I have to have a single focus. So what I've learned at the gym in order to get my brain out of that is I'll look at something and lock eyes on that. And, like, my eyes are not moving from that spot until I'm done with the set.
Yeah.
In order to stop my brain from doing other things. And it's that heartbreak or heartache is something that is so consistently flowing, and it's because we teach a class called verbal defensive influence.
Yes.
Which what it does, and I in the beginning I was like, all right, this is fucking bullshit, it's verbal judo and all that stuff. But what I've learned is I'm physically capable of doing a lot of harm to a lot of people.
Yes.
In a small pocket-sized thing.
Yes.
Meaning when I would get in fights at work or just in situations in general, because of my background with grappling, my job is to literally train people how to fight and put people in restraints. That when someone starts talking shit to me, in my head I'm like, I know where this is going to go.
Right.
You physically can't do anything that's going to hurt me because I know I can't
what
stop
I'm capable of. Yes.
So with the verbal defensive influence, it's gotten me to that mindset of knowing how to control a situation with my words.
Yes.
And when it comes to dealing with just heartache and heartbreak, it's like I have to mentally program my brain to stay consistent, which means I'm constantly battling my own thoughts.
Yes.
And that sucks. It sucks because it's like I have to fight with myself, and then I got to talk to people, and then do this, but then shut this shit down. Something I'll talk to you about it after the podcast, so I can kind of give you an insight. But like last week, I had one thing that just fucking I couldn't keep it in.
Yeah,
it all fucking came out, and every once in a while, like I said, it's that little pocket, that little nuclear reactor.
Yep.
Core gets shot out, and whoever's within the vicinity,
they get it.
It's the Hiroshima effect.
Yes.
Hold on for dear life, and you better hope that this fucking mushroom cloud doesn't evaporate.
Yes. Well, that's why I believe it helps to have people that know you around you, so that way, because I can deal with Lynn's anger. We've almost gotten into a fist fight, but we were drunk. It was very, very interesting time. But I know I can deal with his emotional anger.
You're really good at psychologically talking me out of a situation, because sometimes when I get to a point, especially when it's like dealing with heartache and heartbreak, if I run so many scenarios in my head about why the thing isn't going to work, I know there isn't a lot of people that can talk me in the direction of like, you know what it is, because I'll like, someone will say something and I'll trump them like, what you're saying is dumb because this is the reason why this is the way this is, and they'll look at me like, well, you're just being negative. I'm like, see, I got you right there. Telling me that I'm being negative and not telling me what I can do to fix it or why this method is better.
You're only making it worse.
That's like you saying, well, I don't know. I hate that. Like, why did you do that? Well, I don't know. Well, why are you acting this way? Well, I don't know.
Are you in control of your body?
And you're one of the few people, if not one of the only people that I know that can, like, if I say something, I'd be like, no, the reason why the ocean is fucking blue is because of, I don't know, Gatorade. Yeah. And you can be like, no, it's because the sky reflects from
the atmosphere,
which
sun.
Yes. And it's like you'll throw these little like nuggets at me, and then my brain goes from trying to defuse a bomb to, ooh, piece of candy.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Like, what's that right there? Like,
yeah, because that's how I've had to deal with it. I know I'm a very angry person. That's something that'll never go away. My anger is there. It's always at a 10.
I can't control that.
But I can put him in a cage, like Naruto and the Nine-Tailed Fox. I put him in a cage.
I got all that chakra getting ready to come out. Yeah.
He's there because he's useful when I need him. But I've lived with him, and he's become a part of me, and people know me. They used to know me by my rage. And then I had to learn how to bottle that shit up, because it's like anger is like fire. It does nothing but destroy and kill. And once you let that fire out, it's much harder to contain a fire than it is to start a fire.
Oh, yeah.
So once that fire started, now I have to control it.
That's a good little nugget right there. Like, I've thought of that too. There's been times where I've let, like Wednesday, again, I'll talk to you about it afterwards, but I had the situation where I let all of this shit fucking go out. And then when it was done, like, the people that were around me were like, you could tell they were looking at me different.
Yes.
And it's like, fuck. It's like, I can't. The fire already spread. I've already burned down a good quarter of the village. And it's like, fuck, now I have to piece this back together and try to show people that I can be
I'm not a villain.
I'm not a villain. I'm not this monster that wants to fucking destroy everything. I'm just having a hard time right now.
Yes.
And I have to, like you said, the chakra's got to go somewhere.
It's got to go somewhere.
The Nine-Tailed Fox is going to come out, and I can't just be this happy, peaceful Naruto all the time.
Yes, and that's why I say a strong man needs a strong woman. To really sum all of this up, the reason I brought up this topic is because we've been seeing a lot of separation across our society and our culture, where men are being emasculated under the guise of female empowerment, and that's how you choke on saliva.
Gross.
But I've literally learned by watching Notch, my stepdad, other men around us, my grandfather, people like that, And I've come to find out that men and women are not built equally. That's just not how it works. She has strengths that I don't. I have strengths that she doesn't. It's how we bring ourselves together and make our lives work as a cohesive, symbiotic unit so that we can both come out on top. That should be the ultimate goal in any relationship. It's not about who makes the most money. It's not, oh, she's a 10, she's a dime piece. Oh, he's a this, he's a that. It's about none of that. It's you as a person finding help, love, and support in somebody else that also will share your views, help you bring them, or help bring you up as you're helping bring them up. So I hope this gives somebody some insight. Like Lynn said, we just want to express our feelings, get some feedback. How do you guys feel?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel the same? Are you indifferent? Do you think we're just completely off? What is it? But that's all we got.
That's it.
If you haven't already, check out all of our social media. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Check out our Patreon. Sign up. It's cheap as hell. We'll love you forever. If you haven't yet already, go ahead and check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, and Anchor Music. I am coming out with a book here pretty soon. I will definitely let you know when that launches. Also, my fiance has started up a GoFundMe to get her business off the ground. It's on our Facebook. If you're interested, go ahead and check the link. We love and appreciate your donations. I'm D.
This is Lynn.
Keep your head in the clouds.
Keep your feet on the ground, always moving forward.
Project Airwaves signing out. We will catch y'all in the next episode. You did so good.
Bye.